Alright, so this is the long overdue, I guess, Ash deck profile. I've just been too busy to do it sooner. Ash is basically an idea that I had when I was looking at things coming out in Duelist Advent, because a lot of people were saying that the hands and the artifacts aren't good against shadows, and therefore the hat ceases to exist. I think that the hands and the the artifact engine, are perfectly fine against shadows. Obviously, they aren't as good, but they're perfectly fine. The hands let you regulate their field, and the moral attack. The moral attack still kills everything besides Midrash, which is fine. They have a lot of other things that they will put on the field aside from Midrash, and if they do just rely on the Midrash, then that's brittle enough to get over it. So I felt that those two engines were fine. I felt that the worst card in Hat, or the worst engine in the Hat system, is the Traptrix engine, just because Mamelio is inherently as strong as what it can search, and against shadows, assuming the old list, it would only be able to search Nightmare or Bottomless, neither of which are good at all against shadows. So while hands and artifacts, the artifact engine, still have some decent utility against shadows, even if they aren't as very strong in that matchup as they are against everything else, the Traptrix, I felt, couldn't actually search anything worth searching, and in order to accommodate that, you'd have to main deck one Space-Time Trap Hole, which is okay, I guess. I mean, as the format is now. It really depends on how Duelist Advent changes things. But assuming that the format does not change that significantly as a result of Duelist Advent, which is its own subjective discussion, I wouldn't feel like Space-Time is that good or good enough to play to retain the Traptrix engine. Basically, I felt that Mamelio's strength has always been in that it is an aggressive floater. You summon it and you search, and that is the tits. Even if what it searches is not that great, because like even in the Hat Mirror, neither Bottomless or Nightmare are that good, but Mamelio is really good because it's an aggressive floater. So because of that, I noticed that Deneb is also a Stratos-esque card, so I felt that the two were relatively interchangeable. And if you think about it, I mean, whether you play DNA or Majesty's Fiend is each to their own, I guess. Both are interchangeable in that both are power cards. They're power for consistency cards, power for consistency trade-offs. Whether you elect to play through Majesty's Fiend or whatever, like myself and Kariko Kimachi did, or whether you elect to play like 3 DNA and 1 Majesty's Fiend, or whatever the hell you want. The power for consistency trade-off exists, and Mamelio does not provide consistency so much as utility, and then you just interchanged. You interchange the Deneb with the Mamelio, because both serve a very similar function, and then Deneb gets you into a power outlet in Altair, and the strength of Altair is that being able to constantly swarm rank 4s is very good in a simplified game state, and it's a more consistent power outlet than DNA is, because you can't search the DNA. If you could search the DNA, it would obviously be very good, but you can't outside of Lovable Chain. So yeah, that was the basic mindset when I came to build the deck. It was a very easy transition. It was just essentially through Mamelio, through Majesty's Fiend, 2 Nightmare out for 3 Altair, 2 Deneb, 1 Vega, and 2 Rota. And the allocations in terms of power consistency and all of that don't really get affected. It's just straight swaps. But I feel like this sort of structure is better going forward. I feel like it's better than pure Satella, just because with pure Satella you have to run a lot of shit cards. Like you have to run the Foolish one, and people run the Burn one for some reason. Like, what do those cards do? You rely more heavily on Deneb in builds like that, I feel. And they're more brittle. The thing with the SATELLARKNIGHTs is that they are themselves actually pretty brittle. It isn't impossible by any means to stop an Altair play or a Deneb play, and if that happens, then the cards become very exposed, which is why the hands and the artifacts are so good, because they enable you to simplify the game state, present them with problems that they have to deal with, whether you're just being down with the hands or being down with the moral attack or whatever. It presents problems for them, and then they have to deal with that, and then at that point the game stays simplified. You have the Altair to create the rank 4 locks, and it's difficult for them to deal with, and I feel like it has a better shadow matchup when you substitute the Traptrix engine with the SATELLARKNIGHT engine, because I feel like the SATELLARKNIGHT component is better against shadows, just because even if you do something like Altair, Bribad, Deneb, Swing, and you know, you're just being down, and then if you ever need to exceed, then you can, while Traptrix engine forces you to run space-time, which may in a different environment become very good. It's foreseeable that, you know, if the the format is just you know, shadows and satellas or something like that, then obviously space-time becomes a lot better, and then the Traptrix engine as a result becomes much better. But I wouldn't want to risk that in a format as diverse as this, having to resort to running or having to focus on a card like space-time, which is relatively linear in its application, and by extension makes the whole Traptrix engine linear in its application. While Satellas, against every matchup, they are what they are. I'm not gonna play against like Mermail or something and be like, damn, I wish I didn't main my space times. Like, the Satellas are just as good against everything, more or less. So that was the mindset coming into the building of the deck. It's quite simple. So I run 3 Ice Hand, 3 Fire Hand, 3 Moral Attack, 3 Altair, 2 Deneb, and 1 Vega. I did play this for the Brotherhood Open, by the way, and I was undefeated until the very last 2 rounds when I lost to 2 Shadows. Both of them topped Shadow Fusion for game and time, so there was nothing I could really do. I feel like I played it as best as I could, and if they draw the out, they draw the out. I feel like on another day, I would have topped quite easily. So, yep, I wouldn't say like that result diminishes the quality of this deck by any means. The deck performed very well that day. I played 4 Shadows, I think, and cleanly beat 2 of them, and lost to 2 in time. So there isn't much I could have done about that. Anyways, 3 MST. Oh yeah, so MST is better than Double Cyclone in this, just because firstly you have less back row, and secondly MST is more suiting to the SATELLARKNIGHT condition of wanting a simplified game state. Sure, you don't accelerate as much as Double Cyclone would in a pure hat build, but it's nice to be able to just go back row and then do whatever. And even if you just MST, your moral attack is good. So 3 MST is very good in this build. 3 Duality. 3 Lance. If you're not playing Lance, you're a joke. Really, you should be playing Lance at this stage. 2 Rota. I've gone in and out with 1 Rota and 2 Rota, but 2 is fine, especially with the Vega. The Vega is an accelerant. It helps to mitigate the fact that if you have multiple Altairs in your hand, then it's slow. So rather than, like, if you already have an Altair in your hand, rather than having to search another Altair, you can search the Vega, and at least that has increased utility in what it can let you do, mainly make Delta Ross, which is very good. 1 Book and 1 Dark Hole. Dark Hole is still good. If you're not playing it, you should reconsider it. 3 Sanctum. We tried it without the artifacts, and it just wasn't as good, unfortunately, because, like, I drew Moral Attack so much at the Open. I saw Sanctum literally twice, and I saw at least 1 Moral Attack a game. There were 2 games where I had all 3 Moral Attack. I think there were half a dozen where I had 2 Moral Attack. So I wouldn't put that down to like a flaw with the deck. I kept winning most of the time anyway, but it's just I guess it was bad shuffling and clumping. I don't exactly know, but it does get quite frustrating. But we tried to do something different, and nothing really came of it. You pretty much need the artifact engine for this build. 3 Call, because Call has always been the tits. 2D Prison, because D Prison still is the tits. Then Warning, Comp, Bottomless, and TT, because those cards are still the tits. And the one Breakthrough Skill. Breakthrough Skill was just a good one-off. It helps in the Shadow matchup and in the Satella matchup, and against other things, it's a decent one-off. I wouldn't play more than one. I did for a bit, but you want to keep generating +1s and evens if you can. But yeah, it's a good one-off. That's all I'd say. I think that's 41 cards, I don't know. Then for the extra, 1 Dweller, 1 Kangorgan. Kangorgan was very good. 1 Castel. If I could make a change to this, I would drop the Star Liege and the Black Ship for another Castel and an Omega. Castel is really really versatile, a lot more so than some of the other things that you'll be running. So I feel like the 101 could. The 101? No, the Black Ship. What the fuck am I saying? The Black Ship could be replaced with the Castel, and Castel just has more utility, in my opinion. Which means that in turn I wouldn't need the Star Liege anymore. I could just run Omega. 1 Daigustu, 1 Exciton, just the one. It's saddening. 1 Gagaga, 1 Maestroke. Maestroke is still very good. Black Ship. Rhapsody. I was like, what the fuck is this? Heartland Draco. 101. Ragnavero. Star Liege. Deltaros. And the 1 Pleiades. Because you do occasionally make rank 5s. And Pleiades is the best one. And for the side, I don't know if I would make any changes to the side. It was alright. It was good enough. I'd have to think about it, but I'm not prepared to at this point. 3 Maxi, because it's good. 1 Mind Control for everything. That is good against. Pretty tautological. 2 Noblemen. Nobleman is very good against Shadows, I find. Just because it dents their early game very, very hard if you actually resolve it, and it's a nice counter side to things like Raikou and the hands which they may put in. But it's also good against the Mirror, or just the Mirror being any hat variant, and it's good against Gear as well. So I felt like Nobleman had enough utility to justify as a 2-off, and it was very good. So yep, I'm perfectly happy with Nobleman. Nobleman was my friend. 3 Soul Release, just because I was expecting a lot of Light Swans, and Soul Release just kills Light Swans, man. So I ran 3 just because, like, if you draw multiples, it's fine. You use 1, you clear their grave, you do stuff, and then if they manage to refill their grave, you use it again. But you just want to maximize the chances of drawing it. I ended up not playing a single Light Swan, which I'm not going to complain about, but even so, the Soul Release was just a very good Light Swan side. I may elect to drop 1 for like a Crow or something like that, just for the SATELLARKNIGHT matchup. I was like, what? But who knows? And who cares? Because it was fine. 2 Zombie World, because it kills all the rogue. It kills, like, Zombie World kills, like, 6 matchups. Like, it kills Spellbooks, it kills Boojin, it kills Noble Knights, bunch of other things. It kills Monarchs, other things I don't care about. Like, it's a very effective side, and that it is what it is designed to do. You dedicate 2 spaces in your side to deal with like 6 matchups that you may expect to play. It's good. And 3 Shadow Imprisoning is obviously very good. And 1 Transmigration Prophecy. I may elect to change the side. Who knows? All of this will go anyway. But yeah, the deck is very good. I'm very proud of it. I think that if you are a hat player looking to play something else, then try this, see how it goes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. See you around.